Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? Answering your questions today. Today's question is on missed time while I was playing, and so we're going to talk about when I got the swine flu during my professional career. Put in the comment section below if you've ever gotten the swine flu and what it's like. I'm going to go through kind of what it was like for me. It was terrible. I missed 22 games, I think, in a row because of it. So let me kind of walk you through what it's like to have the swine flu if you've never had it, and then what it's like having it during baseball season and trying to get back into playing. It was really, really difficult. So let's rewind here. So I'm on my way. I'm in AAA. I'm on my way to the stadium. Okay, so I'm walking there. I get about. I was walking to the stadium. Okay, we're on the road. I leave the hotel with a couple of guys on my team, and I get about halfway to the stadium, and I start feeling like not good. Okay, and it's the middle of summer. It was pretty hot. It was probably like in the 90s. But I'm just like, man, I don't feel good all of a sudden. Almost felt like I had food poisoning or something. My stomach started to not feel very good. I started to feel really, really hot. So I get into the clubhouse. I go right down to see the trainer. And literally, once I get in the training room, at this point now, I'm like really feeling bad. Like it hit me immediately. Like all of a sudden, within a 5-minute period, I went from not feeling good to feeling like I was going down. So I tell the trainer, I say, man, I feel horrible right now. Something's wrong with me. So they take my temperature, and I've got like 100, and I think at that point it was like 102 point something. So it was really getting high. And so he says to me, all right, man, we're getting you out of here. You're not the first person today that's come in here. Like something's going through the team. We're gonna go over to the hospital. So there ends up being 8 or 9 of us. I can't remember exactly the number, but it was a ton of us. It was like most of the team. So they put us all in a van, and they bring us over to the hospital. So we all go into the hospital, and they're doing all these tests on us. My temperature ended up going up to 104.7, I think it was. It was almost 105. And at this point, I felt like I was literally dying. So I find out I have the swine flu. Okay, a bunch of us do on the team. So we end up leaving the hospital now. We're going back. They let us all go. They let us go back to the hotel. We stop off at a Walgreens. I don't know why. I thought I literally couldn't. I didn't have the energy to do anything. But we stopped at the Walgreens, and they said, "Hey, listen, guys. Like, we're not. You guys are going to be in the hotel for a while. Like, grab whatever you need. Grab drinks. Grab all this stuff." So I go in. I'm like dragging myself in there. And I wanted to buy, I think I wanted to buy Gatorades and maybe some Pedialytes and stuff. And I said to the guys that I was with, we're like all zombies walking in there. I said, hey, I've got to go take a pee real quick. If I don't come out of the bathroom, like somebody come and help me, please. So I go in there. The next thing I know, I'm being picked up by a bunch of guys on my team, and I don't really remember this very well. I remember a little bit. They picked me up. I had no shirt on, and I had my underwear on, but my shorts were like half off, and I think I was all right. But apparently, like I remember throwing up, and I just remember like overheating. Like I felt like I was like 1,000 degrees, and so. They came in and helped me. I don't know how long I was in there for, but they dragged me back to the bus and brought me to the hotel. And so what happened was, we ended up, our team finished the series and then ended up leaving and going to the next city. And the 8 or 9 of us, were not allowed to leave the hotel. We stayed in the hotel for 7 or 8 days straight, and we weren't allowed to leave our hotel rooms. So they locked us in the hotel room, not in the hotel. We couldn't leave the room for 7 or 8 straight days. And so they would bring us, basically, we would order food, and then the hotel would bring us food, and they would put it in front of the door, and they would knock on the door, and they'd leave. Nobody wanted to come near us. They evacuated the entire floor of the hotel. We were the only 8 people on that floor. So it was a really big deal. People were like, this was like kind of at the beginning when like the swine flu was getting like really popular, I guess. And there were a lot of stories about people dying and stuff. And so everybody was freaking out. And so my roommate and I, there was 2 to a room. So we basically just hung out for 8 straight days. We watched every movie that there was. The nice thing is that they gave us free movie rentals and free food. So we would like watch movies. I watched like 7 movies a day. We'd order like ice cream sundaes for like every 3 hours. We'd be like, hey man, you want to get another ice cream sundae? Sure, why not? We get ice cream sundaes. We ate really, really well. But we did feel like death. And the one thing I do really remember about this is they gave me some type of medicine. I don't know what it was. It was a liquid form. And we took it before bed. And this thing it might have been like horse tranquilizers. I don't know what it was. But I slept for like 15 hours straight. And I don't sleep very long. I'm not a sleeper. I'm usually like up early. But like it'd be like 9 o'clock and I would take it. And then I would wake up the next day and I'd look at the clock and it'd be like 1 in the afternoon. And I'd be like, we had the blinds closed and I wouldn't know, like, did I sleep for 4 hours or did I sleep for 104 hours? Like, it was really, really strange. But I felt really bad the first couple of days, so I guess it was actually better that I just slept. So we did that for about 8 days. I think it was 7 or 8 days. Then we finally were allowed to fly back and meet up with the team. When we met up with the team, I started to feel better. But here's the thing about the swine flu that I learned is that it is really hard to breathe when you have it. And so even just sitting in bed and trying to breathe, it just feels difficult. But when you try to actually do physical activity, it's like you almost can't breathe. So that was the biggest problem. That's the biggest reason why we all missed so many games, is because when we finally got back and started to feel better, we would start to slowly work out, and like just taking swings, you're like, like it was like gasping for air. And I can remember even my first game back, after I missed 22 straight games, I believe, even my first game back when I finally felt better to play and I hit the ball and run the first, when I get the first, I was breathing like really, really heavy. So this lasted a long, long time. It was pretty serious. And so that was, out of all the injuries that I had, I mean, I missed a lot of time with injuries, but to miss 22 games because of a sickness is probably kind of unheard of. And I missed more time with that than I did with a bunch of other injuries, whether it was, fouling balls off me or hurting hamstrings or all that stuff. Like, the swine flu knocked me out for a while. But those are kind of the memories I have of it. Waking up naked almost in Walgreens and, getting to know my roommate really well after being basically locked in my room for 8 straight days with just me and him. And then missing 22 games. So all crazy stuff. In the comment section below, again, put if you've ever had the swine flu. I'd be interested. Tell me what your story was like, if you had kind of the same thing that I had. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Share the video with all your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that also. Check out the description box below. We've got a bunch of stuff down there. We have a deal going on with Plate Crate. We've got a deal going on, you can support the channel through Patreon. There's a link down there to help support the channel. We've got a bunch of other recommendations and all that stuff down there as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.